I just invested $20,000 into Palantir. Welcome back. Corey here, and today I want to discuss the reason in which I invested $20,000 into Palantir. I want to go over the technicals, the fundamentals, and I also want to go over financials as well. And I want to explain to you guys why I invested $20,000 into Palantir. Palantir has different AI products for different sectors of the market, whether it's government or commercial. They have Gotham, Foundry, Apollo, and Metropolis. Palantir Gotham is mostly for the U.S. intelligence government agencies such as the FBI, CIA, and that nature, as well as police. Palantir Foundry is more for civil use abroad and here at home in the United States to do with medical records and healthcare and such. Now, Palantir Apollo is the AI that manages Foundry and Gotham. This way it can update and deploy them and manage it. Apollo uses a microservice architecture. Palantir Metropolis used to be known as Palantir Finance. It's meant for data integration, information management, and quantitative analytics. When you're looking at making an investment into a company such as Palantir, we look at the fundamentals, we look at the technicals, and we also look at the cash flow. Most important things to look at. However, I do want to point out something that really caught my eye, and it wasn't the deciding factor because the company needs to be profitable. When I found out that Palantir was not only used in Afghanistan and different wars by the U.S. military, the Marines, West Point Academy in New York, and not only that, they're also used by the FBI, the CIA, pretty much every single branch of government, federal, state, local, every single branch uses Palantir. When we think about AI, like NVIDIA, this is an AI that makes a difference. Palantir working with the government on so many different aspects is truly remarkable considering the things that they've accomplished. Government agencies and investigators were able to use Palantir to uncover human trafficking rings and stop them, and to unravel complex crimes. This truly is the way of the future. So with Palantir working in quantitative information analytics in finance, helping the U.S. government, the military, investigators, local, state, and federal police, cracking down on very deep rings of human trafficking and other forms of criminals, they've done a lot of good for the world, and they're on track to do even more. But the question is, with all of this happening, are they profitable? One would think they are, considering all the contracts with different government agencies. But let's take a dive into the fundamentals, the technicals, and my favorite, financials, cash flow. Let's take a look and see exactly what Palantir is doing. I just want to let you guys know that I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just trying to coach you on strategies, fundamentals, technicals, overview of the market, understanding these strategies and how to implement them. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide which stock you want to buy and how much of your money you want to invest in that company. I only work about 1 to 2 hours a day besides filming these videos. That's additional, but I love doing it. I'm very passionate about it, and I have financial freedom, and I don't have to worry about money because of this. And it's changed my life, and I want to help you guys be able to do the exact same thing. So with Palantir on the daily chart, we can see that they spent a lot of time from May of 23 all the way until around February 24, in between $13 and $20. They had a few jumps up to 20, but then they came back down and spent a lot of time between 15 and 16 consolidating. However, after the most recent earnings here on the 5th of February 2024, you can see that on the daily chart, we had a gap between $17.92 all the way up to $20.32. The gap fill on a stock can be quite difficult, meaning the odds of Palantir going below 1988 is very, very low, especially considering the earnings, which we're going to get into, and what they do, and the sentiment, and it being AI. It's rather unlikely. I mean, it could happen. I have no way to predict the future, but it's highly unlikely, in my opinion, that it's going to fall below $20. Like $19.50 looking like rock bottom for Palantir. So you can see on the daily chart, it's a lot cleaner than the 1 hour or the 4 hour chart. So when we look at this daily chart, we can clearly see that there's not a whole lot of movement up and down. It's pretty much consistent consolidation and we're near the bottom here where the gap was. So right now you can see we rejected that and now we're headed back up, but we're still under the 10-day average and the 10-day average is below the 20-day average. Perfect time to buy because this big resistance right here and pushing this daily candle up is exactly what I wanted to see. Switching over to the 4-hour time frame, we can see a lot of resistance here yet again. We're getting a little bit lower each time, but there's a lot of resistance in here, which makes me believe that this really is the bottom. 21 is pretty close to the bottom. This could come down a little bit more into the $20 range, consolidate to the next earnings and come back up. But I don't think we're ever going to see Palantir below $20. I think 1950 to 20 is rock bottom, but I think where we hit right there at 21.27 is pretty much as low as I think it's going to go. We will see tomorrow and the next day if Palantir breaks through the 10-day average. Once they do that and we're headed back up, we should see some consolidation in the $22 range. However, we can see most of the volume here lately has been a lot of red volume, more red than green, which isn't good, which is why there's been a lot of selling, but the price has still managed to stay up. They beat the earnings 3 out of 4 times, and if they beat it again, that'll make it 4 out of 5 times. They're expected to report an estimate of 0.8 on the EPS, which was the same as last time. If they beat this estimate, you probably won't get Palantir for less than $22 or even at $22 or $23 ever again. So that's my opinion. So I wanted to buy in now because there's only about 2 weeks left before earnings. This is the perfect time to get in. So that's exactly what I've done. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fundamentals and find out if Palantir is profitable. They do have sell on the technicals, but the analyst rating is neutral. 1-year target, 2027. I guess they're trying to say that Palantir is underweight. I don't know. I don't think so, but let's look at the financials. So looking at the income here, we can see total revenue goes from 473 all the way up to 608. So their total revenue year over year has grown every single quarter. Gross profit starts at 370, works their way up, and we're up to 500. So gross profit moves right along with total revenue. Operating income starts negative 41 million and works its way all the way up to 65 million. So more positive growth from Palantir. Pre-tax income, negative 176, negative 122. Now they become profitable quarter 4 22, 20 million, 30 million, 79, 106. So they hit a little bit of a slump in quarter 1 23, recovered in quarter 2 23, and then in quarter 3 and quarter 4, up they went yet again. Their net income, negative 179, negative 123, then 30, 16, 28, 71, then 93 million. Yet again, year over year growth, clearly illustrating that every quarter is better than the previous quarter, at least for the last 2 to 3 quarters. They had one little hiccup here in quarter 1 2023. We come down and look at the EBITDA, which is just as important, if not more important, than net income and pre-tax income. And we look at negative 36 million, negative 57, negative 9, 12, 18, 48, 73. Yet again, showing the same year over year growth. But let's look at my favorite fundamental for their financials, and that is cash flow. Cash flow is king, and I want to look at that to find out the gross amount of cash coming in and out of the company to find out if they're truly profitable. A good accountant can fudge around with net income or pre-tax income by writing things off, depreciation. Different things can be messed with where you don't get a true number. Cash flow is king. Let's take a look at Palantir's cash flow. So we look at the cash flow, 62 million, 47, 78, 187, 90, 133, and a whopping 301. That is from their operating activities. Once again, illustrating the same pattern as their earnings, more cash coming in. Cash flow from investing activities, 5, negative 27, 73, negative 1.5 billion, negative 391 million, negative 196 million, negative 569 million. So their investing activities, not so hot. Cash flow from financing activities is completely profitable. Year over year growth is pretty good, although not as good as the second quarter 2023. Free cash flow, the number that's really important here, 56, 32, 73, 182, 86, 131, 296. Yet again, last 3 quarters, they are cash flow positive by 300 or just about $300 million. So all the technicals, fundamentals, cash flow, the balance statements, income sheets, everything clearly illustrates that Palantir is becoming more and more profitable every quarter, and without a doubt, doubt they have very good growth. I would like to see more growth, but there's still a lot of growth. Like, look right here at the income statements and cash flow. All three, operating, net, and pre-tax, total revenue, and gross profit, all up compared to where they started back here. A lot of drastic improvement. A lot. The finances on Palantir look really good. And this is the reason why I invested $20,000 into Palantir, because in the long term, 6 months to a year or more, I expect decent returns. And Palantir being an AI and management application for intelligence agencies, military, and the government, FBI, CIA, it is a really important part of our future, and not just the fundamentals that it's AI. With the world having the issues that it's having, Palantir gives us a sense of strength and also a sense of safety as it assists the federal government in a lot of different ways. So Palantir, if anything was to happen overseas, would skyrocket. Palantir would probably double in 6 months to a year or more if something drastic was to happen overseas, which is part of the reason why I invested in them. But I also believe in the company. This is one of the best companies for an AI play. My top plays right now are SoundHound, Palantir, SoFi, and Neo. Upstart's another good one that I have, as well as Rivian. So if you're looking to get into Palantir, I would highly recommend watching it closely over the next couple of days, because I think we're kind of at the bottom right now, I believe, and we're bouncing and going up, and we're going into earnings. So watch it closely. And if you really want to invest in Palantir, I feel like this is the time to do it right now. So what you really could do is week in and week out, you could sell an aggressive put, since you're most likely wanting to buy the stock anyway, but instead of buying it outright, you could collect a juicy premium every single week, and you could sell an aggressive put at $21.50. And if the stock doesn't drop to $21.50, you keep that juicy premium of $51 every single week. This is going to be a little higher than normal because it's an extra couple of days, but on average, it's about $40 a week. And if the stock ends up going up, you can just use the juicy premium that you've collected for several weeks to put towards the stock. So it's a great strategy to just sell puts, and then once you get assigned, you're paying less than what the actual strike price is. Even if you get assigned on the first week, you wouldn't be paying $21.50. You'd be paying $21 because we're collecting $51 juicy premium. So we're getting in a little bit cheaper. So if the stock falls to $21.30, we're $30 ahead, and then we can go right around and start selling covered calls. I can't believe it, but I finally pulled the trigger and invested $20,000 into Palantir. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will do my best to answer them for you. And don't forget, subscribe and tap the bell if you guys enjoyed the content and it's your first time here. And don't forget to smash that like button, as it really greatly helps the channel grow. I will see you guys on the next upload. And don't forget, let's grow our wealth together. Take care, guys.